evening at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Two of the four suspects, Dityon Memlika and Fatyon Juliu, detained for robbing the armored cars transporting $3.2 million to Rennes Airport, will remain in prison tonight. The Court of Tirana decreed the security measure today around 13:30. The first defendant to appear in court was Fatyon Juliu, who during the session appeared repentant for committing the crime, whereas Dityon Memlika chose not to speak for himself in court. The defendant's attorneys have requested more time to further review the case. Meanwhile, the other two suspects, Naim Abdullah and Ernest Kupa, will have their time in court tomorrow. The defendant's attorneys have expressed their concern that they have not been allowed to meet with their clients, being instructed they should first acquire permission from the prosecutor. All four men were arrested last night and are being held in the police directorate in Tirana. The police are still working on finding and catching two more men suspected of being involved in the robbery. Just a few months before the June 18th elections, Prime Minister Edi Rama has declared that immigrant voting remains a challenge to the country. But now, the first step has been made through the online counseling service. This feature will also serve as a preliminary register for Albanians who live outside of the country so that they can be involved in the voting system. The Prime Minister spoke during the presentation of the procedure, saying that immigrants will now be able to vote from where they live without having to come to Albania. Rama also reiterated the goal of unifying the counseling services with Kosovo. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Ditmir Bushati said that the online services will help avoid corruption and reduce costs for citizens. The digital consulate will offer 36 counseling services for citizens wherever they live, creating an accurate digital archive of all the services documentation. Since its inception, the digital consulate has had the support of the Association of Honorary Consuls in Albania. European Deputy Edward Kukan declared that Albania's upcoming elections will be a test for the decriminalization law's implementation. I want to appeal to all Albanian politicians to try and address the OSCE recommendations before the upcoming elections. They are an important test for the democratic system and a mature political culture. I hope the elections will be the chance for political parties to implement the decriminalization law, said Kukan. The European Parliament is expected to vote today on Albania's report. Commenting on the report, Kukan said that the political consensus in approving the justice reform was an important step. I am happy for Albania's progress on its path to the EU. I hope this trend continues and sets the date to opening negotiations. We support this process and the mission of the international monitoring operation that it is overseeing its implementation. Head of the European Forum of Women in Popular Parties, Doris Pack, asked the Albanian politicians to immediately adopt the election reform and guarantee free elections. Pack added that she notices a lack of will in the implementing of the decriminalization law and fighting the war against crime. I am saddened by the situation in Albania. I believe there is a lack of will regarding decriminalization as well as the drug situation. I have followed the justice reform, and I hope it is implemented as soon as possible, said Pack. She commented on the accusations towards Ramana Vlahutin, the EU ambassador to Albania, saying that she will ask the European Parliament to investigate if she is involved in corrupt affairs or not. Pack's declaration came from the conference, Is This the Century of Women in Politics? The conference was mainly focused on the electoral code and guaranteeing gender equality. In the end, the declaration addressing political parties and governmental institutions guaranteeing equal participation of women in politics was approved. Former Minister of Justice Uli Manjani declared today that the government should return free properties to their rightful owners as demanded by the Constitutional Court. In a message on social media, Magnani said that the decision of the Strasbourg court for heavy restitutions is not good news for our public finances. The former minister said further that as the court will also investigate the law, the state should have an official stance before the Court of Strasbourg through checking one or two cases from the long list of applications. Society should not pay compensation monies when a property is free. The Prime Minister's stance on not returning free property to its owner is absurd. The injustice is even more absurd when the government values those that conquer someone else's property. Therefore, the decision to return free property to its owner should be implemented as soon as possible. This is also what Strasbourg expects, wrote the former Minister of Justice. The Chief Inspector has organized a meeting with all the inspectors to present the new initiative for online inspections. According to him, this system will facilitate the inspector's work. Dritan Saiko, head of the Food Tester Authority, explained how the online system of controls will function. All data from the inspections will be accessible from the Central Inspectorate and linked to the relevant directories. With this system, businesses will also have access to any control documents required from the Inspectorate. The head of the Labor Inspectorate praised the system, saying that the practice of manipulation will end as all controls done for businesses will be registered with the online system, an aim to avoid abuse. While inspecting a local business in Tirana, Chief Inspector Haidari said that the inspectors' jobs will now be a lot easier, avoiding problems and mistakes that have long been a bother to the inspectors. Democratic Party leader Lulzam Basha held a parliamentary group meeting in Shkodër, asking deputies to intensify their discussions regarding the February 18th protest. Basha declared that February 18th will be a very important day for Albanians. Democrats should do everything they can to remove the Prime Minister, who, according to Basha, is incriminated and setting criminal bands free from jail. The head of the DP said that the time for criminals to become deputies or mayors has ended and that crime will face justice, adding that the DP's governance will be completely different. The Democratic Party still doesn't have a strategy for their protest, even though Basha has been holding a series of meetings throughout the country, ardently engaging party structures so that the protest is as massive as possible. American Secretary of State Rex Tillerson congratulated Kosovo on its 9th anniversary of independence, expressing the utmost dedication and support of the United States to Kosovo. In a declaration, Tillerson said that the United States appreciates the strong friendship with Kosovo, supporting the common aspirations for sustainability, peace, and prosperity of all citizens. We salute the progress the people of Kosovo have made in building democratic institutions in these 9 years of independence. In 2016, the U.S. was happy to watch Kosovo's first Olympic medal and its football team making the first games in FIFA. We are happy with the continuation of progress in Kosovo regarding strengthening the rule of law, war against violent extremism, and building positive relationships with its neighbors and the world. The U.S. remains dedicated to helping Kosovo's success and will continue working with its leaders in peace and prosperity goals, said the American Secretary of State. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.